I had to come to this particular session and ask my friend over there if I could present the next two people to you, Joe Harawira and Kereama Akuhata, who hail from Whakatane, and obviously it's the centre of the universe because that's where I come from too. Joe and Kere represent and lead a group of approximately 200 sawmill workers who were exposed to multiple chemicals during their employment at the Whakatane sawmill during the 1950s through to the 1970s. Many of these men are today on sickness and invalid benefits as a result of their exposure to PCPs and other chemicals. They do not come from a background of having a science or medical degree, but gain strength, knowledge and insight from men who laboured in New Zealand sawmills for, in many cases, most of their lives. Their membership have medical research that show their toxicity blood levels are higher than those found in Vietnam vets and the community of Paretutu. They are working closely with a number of government departments, including the Ministry of the Environment and the Ministry of Health, to address their health issues and ongoing issue of toxic site management and regeneration. Today they will speak to us about their experience in the welfare system and their views of what contributes to long-term benefit receipt within the context of sickness and invalids benefits. I have the greatest pleasure of welcoming my whanaunga from Whakatane, Joe Harawira and Kereama Akuhata. Kia ora.
Thank you, Enid, for that introduction. I think we should just leap straight into it. Unaccustomed to public speaking, I think this is the best way to do things. What contributes to long-term benefit receipt? I'm going to run you through the origins of SWAP, who we are, why we were formed, what sort of experiences we had, and where to from here. Experience of the members within the welfare system, what has contributed to their long-term benefit receipt, the consequences of being in this system, and breaking the we can work but don't want to attitude, changing the system. Who we are sawmill, ex-sawmill workers. We were exposed to toxins between the 1950s and 1980s, mainly pentachlorophenol, but there were other known hazardous materials as well. Actually, there were 48 chemicals that we used back in the timber industry. And importantly to know, also there was 900 mills in Aotearoa doing the same thing at the same time. Now, if you do the maths and you say 100 workers per mill, and then you do the math again and say you had 4.5 children, the effects just go on and the numbers just keep climbing. And that's why we think it's so important that we look at our next generation, or 7 generations, so to speak. Research shows that, as Enid says, that former timber workers do have health problems that are related to PCP and dioxin contaminants. The timber industry stopped using these PCPs in 1998. Sawmill Workers Against Poison, or SWAP, was formed in 1991 to advocate not only for 200 men, but also for their wives, their partners, and their children, and their children's children. They were exposed to PCP at the Whakatane sawmill site. Massey University research report released just recently and provides academic comment and research that shows that the levels of dioxin or toxins exposure as one of the highest measurements of exposures compared to the Vietnam vets, timber workers outside of the Bay of Plenty, and Paretutu community. The majority of our members are in receipt of sickness and invalid benefits. What contributes to long-term benefit receipt? Basically, it's a non-diagnosed conditions that are real and determine the state of the physical and mental health of the individual. Declining health status prohibits normal working hours and days. Symptoms of multiple chemical exposure. These chemicals were known carcinogens, cancerous. They leave us with symptoms like chronic fatigue, chronic pain, mood swings, anxiety, depression, profuse sweating, weight loss, weight gain, alcohol abuse. The profuse sweating, you might think, I can live with that. But when you think about it, and you've got a partner, and you're in the same bed, and you're profuse sweating, how does it affect your relationship with your partner and your children? Mood swings with your children. How does it affect you? Experience on sickness invalid benefits. Subject to hoop jumping, ACC and WINS, non-information given frontline entitlements. On that second note, a lot of the men are still on sickness benefit. Are they sick or are they invalid? Can they work? Can't they work? Got to ask the question. You know, with all these symptoms that they have, what are you, sick or are you invalid? Can you work or can't you work? Continuous reassessment process for declining health, lack of misdiagnosis of illness leading to incorrect benefits, disconnection between medication to improve sickness, improve well-being, recognize the cause in order to treat the symptoms. Now, just in that last one there, disconnection between medication, we have a member may have 4.9 picograms per milligram of dioxin in his blood serum. And this is 20 years after the fact that he was working. You could imagine when he was working how much he had in his system. Now, he's been diagnosed with diabetes. 3 times he's been having to go back to the doctor to strengthen his medication. Why is that? Is the medication being affected with what he's got inside his system? We don't know, nor do the doctors. We feel that we have becoming guinea pigs, and we become very cynical about that.